Welcome to the Best Sports Betting Podcast, where we'll talk about reviews, previews, tips and all things betting related. Brought to you by bestsportsbetting.co.za. Now, on to our hosts.
How's it, punters? Welcome back to the Best Sports Betting Podcast. Apologise for the lack of an episode. Last week we had some technical problems. Well, not quite technical problems. There were guys using a high pressure sprayer on the house next door, making a hell of a noise. So Simon and I decided to move it, and then we just couldn't find time to make another one. So Simon's with me as always. Simon, we had a pretty decent betting time out last time. We're not going to go into too much, seeing that it was 2 weeks out, but we did pick up a few nice wins, which was good for the old bets.
Yeah, no, it was. Again, apologies for missing last week, but hopefully we can make up for it by giving some more winners this week.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be giving too many winners this week, having a look at the card, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Let's start off with a recap of the Premier League results. What a weekend! Lots and lots of upsets, lots to talk about, and the big one's got to be Pool. Oh, geez, I don't know. Is it Pool losing at home, or is it City losing at home? Which is the bigger one? I'm going to say Pool losing at home because it was Fulham.
Yeah, okay, because it was Fulham, absolutely. But I think, sure, it's a Manchester derby, but City's still massive favourites in that one. So I think a 2-0 win. I mean, the fact that City didn't net a goal at home is enough of a miracle in itself. So, but yeah, both massive upsets. But yeah, I mean, there were a lot this weekend.
There were, and I mean, Liverpool really are in a tough spot at the moment. So the league is gone for them. I think it's now really gone. I think that was a chance for them to kind of, I don't want to say stay in it, but be competitive, especially with City dropping points at home. But very disappointing from Liverpool there. I did have some bets. All my bets lost. Not gonna lie. It would have been a horrible tipping weekend for me because I actually fancied Liverpool there. I didn't fancy Fulham. And for the City game, I fancied both teams to score, and that wouldn't have come in. That didn't come in. So I would have lost on both. And those were my two big ones from last week.
And the Arsenal Burnley as well. They drew 1-1, which was a bit of an upset as well.
Yes, that was one that I wasn't sure about. Arsenal playing away to Burnley. I was going to include that in my recap, but I mean, I feel Arsenal, they had a penalty shot. They maybe should have won that one. But I mean, it's Arsenal playing away from home. If they'd lost, I might have. Yeah, I don't even know if it's calling it an upset these days with Arsenal, but. Yeah, tough times for them as well. It's very interesting to see how the league's shaping up. And you've got Spurs, who came in with an impressive 4-1 win over Crystal Palace, something that I thought I'd mention. And then Chelsea with a 2-0 win over Everton. So Chelsea and Spurs looking pretty good. And there's going to be some interesting clashes with those teams coming up soon. So we'll get into that a bit later. But yeah, pretty interesting week. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. The other results, Newcastle... we're not going to talk too much about Newcastle. They managed a draw against West Brom, which is not bad. But Newcastle looking very close to relegation there. So not going
always flirting around that region, and we'll see. Normally they kind of string together 2 or 3 games towards the end of the season that just save them. But who knows? Yeah,
it's going to be difficult, and that was a big one because it was 2 relegation candidates, and I think the draw didn't really play out. The draw wasn't the best result for either side. So, yeah. But anyway, jumping on to some cricket, Simon, you've been following the New Zealand-Australia T20 series. Give us an update. What's been happening?
Yeah, well, it was actually some brilliant cricket. The series was played over the last kind of 12 to 14 days, I'd say. 5 matches between New Zealand and Australia. New Zealand won the first 2, and then Australia won the second 2. So it went into a final decider on Sunday, and New Zealand won 3-2 in the end, and they won by 7 wickets to beat them. Okay. But yeah, it was really a great series. It had everything. I mean, some incredible sixes, brilliant catches, and batting performances which were just incredible. I mean, with strike rates like well over 200, which is just something which you just didn't see in Pakistan versus South Africa. I kept kind of thinking back in my mind and just thinking,
the subcontinent.
Yeah, how big the gulf it really is between teams like New Zealand and Australia and us right now. It's
We've never been a
unbelievable.
good
But yeah,
T20 side, though, to be honest. I've never rated us as a T20 side. We've had the players, we've just never been a cohesive unit.
yeah, I mean, we've had our moments against teams like England. I mean, when David Miller was really on form, obviously AB de Villiers was a fantastic T20 player. But you're right. I mean, we've never really been excellent. But it was a really great series and good to watch. Which I believe are probably the two best teams in T20 cricket at the moment, playing against each other, and obviously going down to a final fifth match decider was also really cool.
That's exactly what you want from a series. I mean, there's nothing
Exactly.
worse than having a team win 3-0 that wrap the series up early, especially when it's competitive size. It's a perfect finale, I think. I didn't watch it myself, but it sounds like it was an absolute cracker.
It was really great, and obviously with New Zealand winning the first two, they're obviously one match away from a sweep, and then obviously it tied at 2-2. So yeah, it had a bit of everything, a bit of drama and just fantastic cricket. So it was a really good watch.
I have been following some of the England India cricket and England's dismal performance, getting beaten by an innings. Not looking good there. I'm not gonna go too much into that, but yeah, I have been following a little bit of cricket just so the viewers out there know. Right, Simon, let's look ahead to some of the Premier League. I've got a couple games here that I've marked out. The week doesn't excite me other than the Arsenal versus Spurs game. That's definitely going to be the biggest one for me at least. But what stood out to you, fixture-wise?
Yeah, I mean, we've got one game tomorrow, which is City and Southampton.
Yeah,
but
City playing twice this week.
That's right. Yeah, they're catching up one. It's been a while that they've had a game in hand. So, yeah, an opportunity for 6 points, I suppose, and they've already they're 11 points ahead. So, an opportunity to even widen that gap. But we don't have too much midweek football, which is kind of a strange feeling actually, considering we've had a lot of midweek games for so long now. But we got City, Southampton tomorrow, and then on Friday, our beloved Newcastle takes on Villa at home.
I would peg Newcastle for a win there, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't it right? I mean,
put your money on Villa.
whenever you see, I mean, I think Newcastle just generally do love the underdog role, but they're a very hard team to back right now. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Spurs and Arsenal on Sunday is probably the headliner. And when you think about the Gunners' patchy form at the moment, I suppose I can understand them being 15-10 for the home win here. I can see the appeal in backing Arsenal here, but I'm not sold by that price, to be honest. What are your thoughts on that?
The North London derby, I had a look. I actually quite like both teams to score here. I don't want to pick a winner. I think on paper and form wise, I would say Tottenham. But it is a derby. The crowd's not going to be there, but it's still big rivals. So I really can't pick a winner here. If I was forced to pick a winner, I'd go with Spurs. But I just don't see Spurs at the same time beating Arsenal away from home in a North London derby. Look at it; it's happened enough. But I think the price on both teams to score was good enough. It was around 7-10 on Betway. I think you can find a better price somewhere else. But I think that's where I'm going to go. I think this will probably be like a 1-1 kind of game, or it might be a goal fest as well. It's really hard to read at the moment. So I'm going to go with both teams to score. I'm not getting any inspiration from anything else.
Well, I must say I'm with you on the Spurs side of things, which is why there's actually a long shot bet that I like, and it's kind of against your secondary bet, which is both teams to score. And I actually quite like. I feel like this could be actually quite a low-scoring match, and if it's going to be nicked by a team, I feel like it's more likely to be Spurs. So you can get Spurs to win to 0 at 7-2, which is a pretty big price, and that bet is not necessarily because I have a huge amount of faith in Spurs defense, but more kind of, as I said, that I see a close game. Without many goals, and there's better value. There's not much value in the under to me, so I think there's more chance of Spurs nicking it than Arsenal. So that would be my very speculative bet on this match: Spurs to win to 0 at 7-2.
Okay, well, it's at least a value bet. I mean, I really can't pick something here. It's going to be the game that I'm going to watch this weekend, though. It's the one that I'm probably most hyped for. And then another one I want to talk about is City taking on the Saints. I feel this is a really good spot for a big City win. They are playing two matches this week, as we mentioned earlier, but the Saints have been terrible on the road. They're the worst team in the Premier League, literally, like, away from home. They've been absolutely terrible, and I think City are the best team at home. So you've got the best team at home against the worst team on the road.
You also got to think that they obviously want to bounce back from their weekend derby loss.
Yes, that's also something that I'd take into account. But the odds are just not good on City as expected. It's, I think, the 1.2. Yeah, 1.2 is around what you're going to find. I don't want to take them on a handicap here. I feel the handicap's probably the right way to go. Maybe overs on goals. But once again, I think the bookmakers have got these odds nailed down. So it's very difficult to find value. But I think there could be a big win for City here.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that the odds are even shorter than they would have been because City lost on the weekend.
Yes, probably 1.15 or something before that. So
yeah.
Then we have Wolves taking on Liverpool, and there could be a little bit of value on Wolves here if you fancy Liverpool's miserable form to continue.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be betting on it, but another tough game to call. Liverpool clearly the better side, but their form is not great. They're still struggling. Wolves not terrible, playing at home. I think they've got a chance here to get a result against Liverpool, to be honest.
Me too. I mean, there'll be people out there who will look at odds of around 17 to 20 on Liverpool and say that looks value. To me, that's just not a bet I'm willing to take. I mean, they're backing Liverpool right now at anything under even money, even against a team like Wolves, who obviously kind of a minnow promoted team. Is just not a risk I'm willing to take.
Yeah, and Wolves, they've had a reasonable season. It hasn't been for a side like themselves, they're sitting 12th in the table. They should be fairly safe from relegation. I think they're just a couple points away from that magical 40 mark. Liverpool also have the Champions League game where they have which we'll chat about in a bit, where they have a 2-0 lead against Leipzig. You think that Liverpool's season's probably over. Are they going to focus on the Champions League? But then at the same time, they've got a 2-0 away lead. It's going to be a very difficult balance for Klopp over here. I think you should focus on the Champions League. But yeah, that's why I think that Wolves might be in with a shot here. Maybe Wolves double chance drawn a bet might be something that I get involved in. Then we have the Champions League, unless there's any other Premier League matches that you fancy, Simon.
No, that's it, Rob. I think we should preview the Champions League.
Although great, yeah. There's one more. United West Ham. I think that's one we should talk about definitely. That's a pretty big one. United 1.87 at home against West Ham. Pretty tasty price, I got to say.
It is.
So, it's hard not to take United in that spot, especially coming off their win against City. I mean, wow, it's a very, very tempting price.
Yeah, it is. And when I look at that price, and I haven't looked much into the match, but I'm not sure of the team list and injuries at the moment, but it does almost look too good to be true. So I definitely have to look into that. But it does look very appealing as it is right now.
Yeah, look, I mean, West Ham obviously been playing, punching way above their weight, sitting fifth on the table. I mean, they're above Spurs and Liverpool. So, but I still think United will have too much quality for them. But man, the price just looks like a trap to me.
Exactly.
I would have that at 1.7 or something. But yeah, I actually might get involved in that one. I might take that with both teams to score in the Arsenal match. But let's jump over to the UEFA Champions League. I don't like the first set of fixtures. I think those are tonight or tomorrow night. I actually prefer the next set of ones where Pool take on Leipzig and PSG take on Barca. Entertainment wise, betting wise, I haven't found anything. I'm not sure about you.
It is, Tuesday's fixtures, tonight's fixtures don't look amazing. Second leg of the round of 16 this week. I find it quite strange how some of the teams are playing at a neutral venue and some of them are playing on their home ground. So obviously in those matches, when they're playing home and away, they're both either playing at a neutral venue or both either playing home or away. But I find it interesting how they've mixed it up, where they have some of the some of the matches happening, at the home grounds and some of them on a neutral ground. I'm not quite sure I understand. I mean, obviously there's little point in flying teams back and forth to play in stadiums with no fans, but I'm not quite sure why some teams get to play at home and others don't. So anyway, it's just something interesting. But yeah, tonight, Dortmund hosting Sevilla, and yeah, the Spaniards, they'll need to turn around a one goal deficit to qualify, and then Juventus and Porto. Also, Juventus needing to turn around a one goal deficit. I think Juventus at 5-10 looks. I mean, it's not good. They're not great odds, but I think that they'll definitely get the job done tonight.
Yeah, I agree. Fixture-wise, the first set of fixtures are better, in my opinion, for betting if you're going to be having a bet. Simply, as you mentioned, because of the one goal leads going in, the teams are at least both teams have something to play for. Whereas the second set of fixtures, I want to say those are done and dusted. Just because of the aggregate scores.
Well, you see, okay, so the bet that I like the most this week is actually Leipzig on the draw no bet against Liverpool, and that's available at 21-20. So obviously the German side, they lost the first leg 2-0.
Surprisingly, and I actually had them to win that one.
Yeah, and they obviously can't afford to lose this one. And the reason I quite like this as well is that the fact that Liverpool could still lose by a goal and qualify, so they wouldn't mind necessarily losing the match by like a 2-1 or something like that, makes me confident that Leipzig is the right. Yeah. So I quite like Leipzig to avoid the loss here, and I'm quite confident actually that they'll get the win. Obviously it's no news to anyone that Liverpool are struggling with form big time here, and I just think that 2-0 win in the first leg is shading these odds a little bit too much in Liverpool's favour.
Yeah, look, to be fair, it's a 2-0 away win, which, if the teams, aggregate goals and away goals and all of that come into account, and I think away goals are still the thing that they go to first. That's right. So they count for a lot, and it's the same with the kind of PSG-Barca match. Sure, Barca Barca need to win 3-0 and they can go through. No. Actually, no. I think I'm wrong on that one. They're going to need a much bigger one than that. But Leipzig would need to score more away goals here than if it's going to be a draw. So I don't know.
If it's a draw, yeah.
Yeah, I really don't want to take any bets on these two matches. They just look terrible. They're going to be great matches to watch. I think that PSG Barca is going to be a cracker. Barca have to attack in that match.
Yes.
Whereas Liverpool can afford to kind of sit back in their match against Leipzig. They can take a 1-0 loss or something like you said. Maybe a draw, I think, could be on the cards here as well. But then again, it's just it's really hard to read Liverpool. They're in poor form. They picked themselves up from the slump last time for this match. So they could do that again. It's just too difficult.
So what then are your thoughts, Rob, on PSG Barca in terms of the match odds and any bets?
Well, I mean, PSG have a 4-1 lead going into this match. That's an away lead. They're playing at home now. So Barcelona need to score 4 goals. Yes, they're going to need they need to win 4-0 in order to qualify. And it happened last time. I remember not last time, the last time a while back in the Champions League when they met, they actually overturned it. I don't think they're going to do that again. The Barcelona is not the same Barca that they were. This is also a very strong PSG side. So, what do I call here? It looks like I want to call a Barca win, but I think PSG will take this one as well. I don't think there's much hope for Barca.
I can't disagree with that, absolutely.
But then again, the odds are pretty good in this one. You're getting 2.23 on a PSG win. But then again, they've got a 4-1 lead, and they know that Barca needs to win 4-0. So then I don't think they're going to be putting out the strongest side, perhaps, and playing a normal game plan. So a draw.
Yeah.
It just screams draw. You're getting pretty decent odds on the draw. Look, Barca are going to come out and attack. I think it's going to be an entertaining match. But I don't even want to say we're going to see both teams to score. I don't even think we'll see that, even though the odds for both teams to score are 1.38.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously that is because Barca are not going to be interested in defending here. They need to go all out. But that's probably one of the lowest both teams to score, or odds I've seen for both teams to score ever, to be honest. That's crazy.
It might be worth taking Barcelona to win the first half. I'm just looking at that now. It's a bit of a funny one, but you're getting 3.28 on Barca to win the first half. They're going to have to come out, all guns firing.
Yeah.
And if they're not 2-0 up at half time, then it's pretty much, I want to say, it's tickets for them. So I think maybe Barca to score first, win the first half. I think that's the only kind of interest I can find on that one. I'm certainly not going to be betting on overs and that kind of thing. It's just you just never know with these matches. I mean, there's been so many matches in the past where a team has come with an away lead of maybe one goal, and you expect them to be dominant, and then the other side just attacks and overturns it quite easily. I don't think that's going to be the case here, but yeah. I'm talking in circles now, Simon. So let's jump over to some of the Six Nations, which we've got a big match: England versus France. I think that's one of the highlights.
Absolutely. Well, on paper, this is without a doubt the best weekend of Six Nations we've had so far. As you mentioned, the tournament favourites France will travel to Twickenham to play England, and England are 1.5 point favourites, despite only beating Italy so far in the tournament, and not too convincingly. It's an interesting one. I want to back France here, but something just tells me England will have a lot to prove, and I think they'll want to save face by beating the new tournament favourites, and with nothing to lose after now being booted out of the tournament because they've got no chance. The pressure will be off Eddie Jones, and I just think England might well finally turn up.
And they've also got a very good home record against the French. I think the last time they lost at home to France was 2011, so 10 years ago, and I know that goes a long way back, but there have been there've been a lot of matches recently to kind of draw back. Matches have been close, though. They have been very close. I think most of them have been decided by I think under 6 points. I think there was a draw. There were a few that were 3-point wins for England. So I reckon you're on the right side here. What's interesting here, Simon, is the handicap on England 1.5 is the same price as the England win on Betway.
And exactly. It's one of those games. I mean, the halftime handicap as well is exactly the same. It's also 1.5, which kind of makes sense with such a small number. But it'll be an interesting one. But I just think, I've seen amazing things happen when teams have no pressure, like when they're out of a tournament. And I've seen, it's actually incredible what can happen when a team has got nothing, a lot to play for.
Look at the box in the World Cup final, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. So I think, as much as I think England have been absolute garbage, the Six Nations, I just think they don't do it now. When are they going to do it? And it just with nothing to play for and everything to play for at the same time. I just think that there looks a little bit of value in that price.
Yeah, and especially considering the way they went down to Wales. I mean, that scoreline was bigger. I don't know if you watched all that match, but those two controversial tries with the knock-on kick that wasn't whatever. It's just how they called it on the day was just against England, unfortunately, and I think they've got what it takes to beat France here. I think I'm looking at the handicap England -6.5. I'm very tempted by that. I'm very tempted by that, even though there is value on just taking England straight up.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually a bet that I like though. That was not. I mean, as much as I fancy England, if I had to, gun to the head, I'm very wary because of England's, record in this tournament so far. They just haven't been playing well. But I do actually like Ireland to beat Scotland, and this was very interesting because there is such a big difference across some of the books with this price. You can get 1.83 with Sunbet on Ireland to beat Scotland, and you can get as low as 13 to 20, so 1.65 at other books. I mean, Scotland have got a very small chance of reaching the final if they beat Ireland this week and Italy next week, and then also depending on what happens in the other games with the other teams. But I just think, Ireland will come out guns blazing here. They really need to win this match for a chance. So, and I just think that, obviously Scotland have played pretty well in this tournament, but I think that 1.83 is very generous on Ireland, and I definitely prefer Ireland to get it done against Scotland than England over France at about the same price.
Yeah, I'm looking at that as well, and that price at Sun does sound very tempting. Over here on Betway, I've got 1.79, which is quite reasonable compared to some of the 13 to 20 that you said was floating around. I like Ireland to win here. I'm not sure what the handicap is. What should it be, around 2-3?
It's 2.
Okay, I might take them on the handicap then instead. I think that would Although it's not giving you a great deal of value again.
Yeah, that's the thing. Whenever
considering,
it's under a penalty, it's kind of the same with NFL. You don't get much extra boost in your odds by taking that handicap. So I always find it makes a little bit more sense just to take the match win at a slightly bigger price.
All right, so we're going with England, we're going with Ireland, and do you have any thoughts for the Wales game? I think we can agree we're both going to go with Wales there. But
it just becomes a case of can they cover that handicap?
By how many? Yes. Big handicap on that game. What do you have on your side? I've got 24.5 at a pretty measly 1.77. So it's, the actual handicap's probably around 25, 26.
Yeah, so you can see there's obviously been a bit of steam on that number already. And I just, to be honest, I don't understand why people play these games.
Huge handicaps.
Because, and it always happens. You see a number that opens up and you think, oh my gosh, that's a huge number. And before you know it, it's been bet by 3 or 4 or 5 points more. And it's not a comfortable position to be in as a punter. And I don't know why people do it. If you're going to play matches like that, take the plus or forget about it as far as I'm concerned.
Yes, and Italy, they have been pretty trash. I'm not going to say that you should take the halftime handicap on Italy here. It's not going to be big enough, I think. Your halftime handicap's going to be probably around 12 or something, which I feel anything around 14, I might be tempted to take. But, also with the odds on that, I don't think the risk reflects the actual odds. I'd need much bigger odds to get involved. So, easy win for Wales, obviously. I can't say if they're going to cover. I don't want to make a prediction on if they're going to cover the cap or not, but I would much rather be on Italy plus than on the Wales minus.
One of the benefits of a punter is that you don't have to bet every game.
Definitely,
so
yes.
I think that's these kind of things. Yeah, just that's your one advantage as a punter is they have to make the odds and you don't have to bet the game. So this was definitely, I think, a leave alone game.
Yeah, but it's always good as a punter to familiarize yourself with what the odds are on offer, and if you're watching the game and following the games, and you don't have to actually place real bets. I mean, what I used to do in the past is I used to take my bets and I wouldn't place anything. I'd just write them down.
Yeah,
and I'd keep track of them. And I haven't been doing. I don't do that anymore. But I think it's a great way to kind of get into betting. If you're a new punter, lots of guys come and they want to put. I want to put 500 Rand on Man United or something like that. But, rather place your bets on paper. And I think this is one of those games that is definitely one for for my own betting slip at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Good way to learn too.
And then in some other betting news, Simon, we're going to jump over to some casino games. Hollywood Bets launched Spinner Zonke, and we've both done write-ups for this. We've both been playing it a bit. We posted a video up on BSB on the YouTube channel about it, and 62 games on offer, all slots games. Very cool. Yeah. What are your thoughts on those new slots?
Oh, I think they're really, really fantastic. And there's lots of variety there. You can play the themes of the games are really, really variable, from sport to kind of adventure to ancient civilizations and all sorts of really, really fun stuff. So, and a lot of those games will be quite familiar to people who played in some land-based casinos. They're really great. I think that they are by far the best slots to come to online bookmakers in South Africa so far. Would you agree with that, Rob?
Yeah, definitely. And these slots were at Lotto Star, but now Lotto Star I kind of consider as a weird sort of. I don't even know what I want to call it. I don't actually have a name for it. But then they're not a sports betting site. They've got some sports betting.
Yeah.
It's like fixed odds. It's more fixed odds and I didn't even want to say casino. Even though they've got a heck of a lot of live and casino games, they're more on the lottery. So I don't really consider them like a betting site in that sense. It's more of a kind of casino betting, I guess. And they've had them up for a while. So obviously, with that in mind, bookmakers are now getting it approved by the various provinces, because if one bookmaker has it, then why can't other bookmakers have it? So I think we're going to see slots rolling out at a lot of other betting companies. So I wouldn't be surprised in the next 2-3 months to see it at some of the other bigger bookmakers in South Africa.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting. It's just such a nice product to add to the mix. Obviously with a lot of sites now having sports and live games and casino games, it's just slots is just a really nice addition to kind of complete the picture.
It is. It's the one thing that has been missing, and it's great that a site that like Hollywood Bets have it. Lotto Star. I'm not going to say they're a trusted site. I will say Hollywood Bets are a trusted site. I've got nothing against Lotto Star. But, Hollywood Bets I can trust with my money 100%. I know everything they're doing is going to be above board. So I think it's great that they've got them, and hopefully we'll see more bookies coming out. And hopefully you see some other kinds of slots games, because we've got the ones over at Superbets that in comparison aren't very good. And we've now got these ones, so hopefully I think there's still room for a third provider to kind of come in with some slots. And it would be nice to see some kind of South African themed or focused ones coming out, rather than these sort of, I don't want to call them generic because they're not quite generic, but something for our local market. I think that would be very cool.
Absolutely.
They've got something like that over on the National Lottery, but those games are just a joke.
Yeah, very, very bad odds that you're getting on those games. It's basically daylight robbery. Not recommended.
Yeah. So I mean, I've had a lot of time with the slots. I've played quite a lot of them. So I recommend guys who are interested in casino go check it out. I've seen punters picking up some pretty nice wins on there as well. So it's not a burning your money kind of situation where you're just spinning, winning nothing. And I can say that for myself as well, that I have managed to pick up quite a few wins, not big wins, but enough to kind of keep you playing. And that's what slots is all about. You're not going to find too many people that pick up massive wins on slots. It's more of a fun kind of experience, pick up some small wins here or there. But you were mentioning earlier about a guy who won $1 million over in the States on the slots and then burnt it all, Simon. Well, not burnt it, but blew it all.
Yeah, it was at the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Yeah, it was a poker machine, and he actually he won the jackpot with a royal flush, and hit the $1 million jackpot. And in a day and a half, managed to lose all the money back to the same machine. It's just tragic.
It is tragic. I mean, you're in Vegas. I mean, the Bellagio, I'm sure they comped him with a nice room, but that room's not going to make up for losing all that money. I'm sure they're smiling ear to ear. I mean, wow.
What a great situation to be in. You finally pay your jackpot out and then you just get all the money back in a day and a half. Brilliant.
Exactly. Crazy stuff. And speaking of jackpots, bet games now have jackpots on Speedy 7 and 6+ poker. And they also operate on royal and straight flushes. So if you're playing 6+ poker and you're playing Speedy 7 and you actually hit a straight flush or a royal flush, you'll get a jackpot. The jackpot for the straight flush is going to be half of the royal flush, but the amounts are pretty decent. We did do a little write-up on BSB. I don't think it justifies a video, so I don't think we're going to be making one for that, because I don't think I'll ever hit that jackpot. Even with all the bet games that I've played, but it's something for bet games fans to go and check out. So yeah, go check that out, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Simon, thanks for joining me as always. Hopefully we have a lot of interesting results to recap next week with all these fixtures.
Yeah, for sure. And there's just a little taster for something coming soon. I mean, the Formula One season starts in the last weekend of March. So the first race is the Bahrain GP on the 28th. So if you're a Formula One fan, stay tuned, because we'll definitely be giving our analysis and picks for every race throughout the season.
Yeah, you heard it from Simon there. Formula One coming up, and we'll hopefully get some previews and some tips up for that as well. Guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.
Thank you for listening, and don't forget to visit our site, Facebook and Twitter pages. Let's go make some money.